Hi everyone, welcome to Engage 2020. Thank you for your time today. We're excited for you to be here with us. Before we begin, I wanted to share a legal slide to confirm that trademarks are not endorsements and this session contains forward-looking statements. My name is Connor and I'm a Customer Success Manager here at Smartsheet. I'm currently based out of our London office in the UK. It's my role here at Smartsheet to help your organization leverage the platform to achieve your business goals. I do that by assisting in the building out Smartsheet solutions that align with your business initiatives, offer guidance on Smartsheet best practices, and drive user adoption to ensure you're getting the most value out of your Smartsheet investment. Today, we're looking forward to a fantastic session with Andrew Sellers from Atalian Servest. I myself have had the privilege of working with Andrew and the team at Atalian this year. Together, the Atalian Servest and Smartsheet teams have worked collaboratively to create impactful solutions, some of which you'll see shortly. We're going to deep dive into how Andrew and the team leverages Smartsheet to collaborate across the business, consistently report at scale, and build impactful end-to-end solutions across their division. I'd now like to introduce Andrew and Atalian Servest. I'd also like to thank Andrew for taking the time to share his story today. I'll pass it over to you, Andrew.
Hi, Connor. Thank you very much. And thanks for the opportunity to talk to everybody today. So my name's Andrew Sellers. I'm the Group Head of Projects for Atalian Servest UK. To give you a picture of the group at a glance, we are a £3.2 billion turnover company with 125,000 employees across 33 countries globally with approximately 32,000 customers. We're a FM company offering cleaning, security, technical services, building solutions, pest control, fire and security, environmental and waste management, washroom services, and many others. And we've been established in the UK since 1998. We've got a global reach, as mentioned. We've got a global footprint in North America, in Europe, in Africa, and in Asia. And to give you some timeline, some history of Atalian Servest, in 1998 it was founded, Servest UK in Bury St Edmunds, and the acquisition and organic growth has been significant since then. Turners at the time in 2011 took our turnover to 70 million. So as you find us in the UK today at around 800 million, and globally at 3.2, you can see it's been quite a busy period of time. For the Smartsheets Journey, we engaged with Smartsheets in 2016 in October. So we'll talk a little bit about that. For our function, for the Project Management Office, our key functions are ensuring project governance and principles are delivered. We obviously want to report and dashboard to our customers both internally and externally. We want to track the benefits of any program of work and the realization of those benefits. We obviously want to manage risk as we deliver programs of work and escalate accordingly. And then we're looking at quality assurance systems and processes and lifecycle approach to all the products that we deliver. And Smartsheets products and solutions, we've recently done some work in the last 2 years in really developing solutions that we can sell on. The direct customers for us started absolutely with operations back in 2016. And then quite quickly, as the sort of Smartsheet solution and communications grew, we grew into support functions. And then moving into our customers, starting to talk to them about how some of the dashboarding and reporting could help them, and some of the solutions we built internally could potentially help them as well. The spin-off benefits of Smartsheets have been absolutely for business development and sales, from things to talk about, things to show and demonstrate that create that wow factor, and also for content. So when you're responding to bids and so on for new businesses, we've had much more content and much more demonstratable evidence that we can deliver in those areas through the benefits of Smartsheets.
Quick question.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry, quick question. So obviously through the acquisitions and how busy the business has been over recent years, how did you come to find Smartsheet?
So in 2016, it was literally a case of I joined the business in 2016 in October, and there was myself and a team of PMs back then, and one of those PMs had worked with Smartsheets previously in a former life. Now, I was looking for something that I was aware of other products out there at the time, the Juras, the Microsoft Office project, and so on. And to me, I'm going to use the phrase, they're kind of license heavy, in that you can use them, but you can only see stuff within them if you've got a license, and you can only manipulate things within them if you've got a license, and so on. Also, in terms of accessibility, the accessibility of those systems, again, is quite restrictive in terms of you've either got a license or you haven't. And I wanted something that, as a group that employs now 27,000 people in the UK, I wanted something that anybody within our organisation could access, could use, could interact with, and could share the benefits with at a glance. And particularly because we're in that world of technology where you've got so many ways of accessing this information through web-based solutions, so devices, PCs, tablets, laptops, and so on. I wanted it to work with those, and that's what Smartsheets does. I wanted something agile. As a business, we pride ourselves on our agility. The nature of what we do, there are lots of situations and circumstances that we have to respond to quite quickly, and we're talking weeks, not months. And the customers have got used to us responding to those situations with that regularity, and Smartsheets complements us in that way, because as I've made at the last point there, it's simple, it's easy to use, it's easy to build solutions quickly, and as I said, it's accessible. So that's how we came to use it. I put a little slide together for the journey, so to try and talk about how we've evolved along with Smartsheets as well. In 2016, in October, we started with 3 licenses. I think within 3 to 6 months of that, we very quickly moved into the enterprise model. So we've currently got 25 licenses. The early years, as I would call them, are around us building and understanding the functionality of Smartsheets. So very much what I was looking for was consistency in project delivery and approach. And because we were able within Smartsheets to template mobilization, transition, transformation plans, because we were able to template risk management and the escalation and reporting of which to dashboards, we very quickly standardized the way that we delivered things, and we automated at the same time. Obviously, that caught the attention of bids, and we were able to supply them with more content. So we kind of built into our processes, our new processes, the use of Smartsheets. And the teams that really we used it at the start were cleaning and security. If you can imagine from an FM point of view, a cleaning business can have, in some circumstances, can have thousands of sites, of physical sites. And I think the most employees we've dealt with at any one time is 4,000 employees. So that's a crunchy worth of data to deal with at any one time. And Smartsheets cope with that admirably. And, that led us on to getting more confidence with the system. So we looked in 2018 around more bid content, more customer landing pages. This was where we gave, with confidence, customer access to Smartsheets. And they really fed back to us that they felt much more confident and much more assured that what was happening in real time they could see, and that the access to our detail, if you like, they can drill down to the minute detail of an individual action on an individual person if they so wish. We really don't care. It's kind of, our approach is see what you need to see and tell us what you don't need to see. So that level of transparency really has stood us in good stead. Naturally, as we engage with the kind of mobilization of new businesses and things like that, it was conversations then with HR, with procurement, with QC, with finance. And we're talking to these guys and saying, look, Smartsheets has this automation capability. So when a new contract lands through the pipeline, we can basically spit and push and pull information to you, from you, back into the system. And again, it saves on administration, it saves on duplication, so on, and it removes multiple spreadsheets and hand-holding processes. So that was 2018. In 2019, we kind of then getting into the realms of major bids. So we're looking at like the engineering side of Smartsheets, where it's able to automate. A new request comes in, a new project request comes in, and then it pushes that information out to relevant people. We're now looking at attending sales presentations, confidently selling this solution to our customers. We looked at 100-day planning for mergers and acquisitions, which obviously, again, are very complex. And we looked also in 2019 at a global productivity exercise. So you can see globally, 33 countries, many offices all over the world, all contributing towards that global productivity. And then finally, this last year, we're looking at new innovation, new market innovation, sustaining efficiency, innovation. And we're really building on the work that we've done previously. Naturally, with the journey with Smartsheets, we're always talking to Smartsheet about the next level of licensing that we maybe need to adopt, and we'll continue to do that. I want to go back a little bit at this point just to explain to people what we did with the project process. So this is the very first thing that we did, and the very first tentative steps into kind of automating processes. So we have a company intranet, and on there is the Hive, and that's where people go to basically find out all information around Atalian Servest. Within the Hive, within the project's team page, we have a project request form or forms for different types of projects that are required. Now, that's an embedded web form within our intranet. We've then got the Salesforce system, which obviously manages our pipeline work. And between those two systems, that gives us the information for Smartsheets then to determine, okay, this is a bid. In terms of the complexity of that bid, we're low value, low complexity, or high value, high complexity, depends on the series of templates that we then pull together through Smartsheets to provide either a bid solution, or if it's a contract win situation, then that spins out to a mobilization plan and all the associated documents. And then finally, you've got bespoke project requests. The gearing within that master data set is then obviously spitting out a project plan, or it's spitting out a resource requirement and naming a resource to an individual to PM it. And the spin-off of those applications are, we're happy because we're spending less time administrating. Our customers are happy because they get, from a bid situation, they get a very comprehensive bid proposal with already mapped out solutions in their bid across a whole range of documents that are required to manage that bid process safely. And with our sales team and so on, they're happy because they've got more content to talk about, and they've got demonstratable content to deliver when they're doing sales pitches. Some real issues, I think what I wanted to talk about was a number of issues. So I think I've got 3 examples here. In recent times, we've looked at licenses that we're currently paying for bespoke products, one of those being accident and incident reporting. We have already developed the accident incident reporting, and we're replacing our current bespoke product with that. We're moving now on to claims handling. And we're just literally, I think we're in the process of uploading the data from the old claims handling system now. Smartsheets, through a series of web forms, reporting dashboards, and dynamic reporting, has managed all those requirements comfortably. And we're really confident that we can remove further licensing around claim handling. So our target is to remove around about £100,000 worth of costs of bespoke licensing and replace it with Smartsheet solutions. And we're well on the way to delivering that. More recently, and I guess this has affected a lot of people, is COVID-19. As I sit here in the office wondering whether I'll be asked to stay at home tomorrow, the track and trace system is something that we've built in the last we built it in the last 4 weeks. And from its concept point of view, we've built it, and it's actually been rolled out today to the Atalian Servest Group UK. This does a number of things. Obviously, it has the notification and the risk mitigation around managing people with COVID-19 and managing, as you look down the slide, to the visitor registration icon. So this is for visitors to the offices that are not daily office users. A daily office form, so this is if a person is on a roster, they go into here. If you've been asked to quarantine, if you've been asked to self-isolate, if you're logging symptoms and so on, or if you're logging a positive test, all these web forms feed into a master data set. And the subsequent auto notifications, the formulas sitting within Smartsheets are able to escalate and inform people within the group at the right levels at the right time what's happening across our business. And for us, this is an incredibly powerful tool.
Andrew, just on that point, so, I've seen your solutions. I'm entirely impressed by them the whole time. But they're quite detailed and clearly impactful solutions. So, with a slightly smaller team building these out, how do you get them off the ground so quickly?
Number one is, I guess, in recruitment, we're asking people. It's nice to have people that have had experience of Smartsheets before, so obviously we ask that during interviews. But also what I'm more interested in is, have you got an inquisitive mind? Have you got an entrepreneurial mind? Have you got a mind that likes a challenge? And I don't know why, but people seem to find Smartsheets really comfortable to navigate through. It's quite structured in the way that you can manage data and move data around. And if your thought processes are logical and consistent, if you map out your processes first thoroughly, that what you're doing currently, and you see where Smartsheets can obviously innovate and save time and cost and money and things like that, but also hopefully improve what you've got, then that's what we do. I ask our guys constantly, and I'm constantly looking online at the web content because there's tons out there in terms of helpful tools. There's obviously the Smartsheet chat groups and so on that are online as well. We're part of an early adoptive program as well on certain things developing within Smartsheet. And I think for me, it's a decision you make. Get as involved as you want to be, but the benefits are the more you get involved, the more fun you can have, and the more possibilities become real. So it's more about enthusiasm and engagement, because I can only say I would never count myself as a technical genius in any way, shape or form, but Smartsheets is very intuitive and it's very easy to learn and pick up.
I like your saying about the more involved you are, the more fun you have. I'm going to use that going forward.
Okay, thank you. The last one is tactical. At a tactical level, really trying to increase productivity. So this is focused around operational businesses and around removing manual processes and putting in automation. So this is something that we've developed again in the last 6 to 8 weeks for our construction business at Arthur Mackay. So it's Atalian Servest, Arthur Mackay. And we've created them an operations landing page. And within that, there's a number of spin-offs of data. So we've got some capture forms, QF22, which is the start of a project's life. We've got some guidance forms in there. I've spun out some of those from the QC icon down there. So this is, for example, if a project manager has been asked to attend a construction site, and we want to make sure that the principal contractor is acting safely and responsibly, then our guys can go in there and conduct a site safety audit at that site through the web form, through this homepage, this landing page, and that information is then captured within the QC reporting. Any issues, any red items on that audit will be escalated both to ourselves automatic and to the principal contractors concerned. And if those issues are not addressed, that we've agreed parameters in terms of timelines, and we conduct the same audit every week, So if those issues are not addressed and the reds are not starting to be turned to green, then effectively it gets escalated to the senior leadership team and they can pick it up with the principal contractor. Now, all that automation is done within Smartsheets. So this is a completely admin-free system. All you've got to do is do the audit. Then down the bottom there, we've just pulled out a page from our admin section. This is around projects within the pipeline of works underway, and it's the stages of where we are with the O&M manuals, production and that sort of thing. So it can produce operational stats as well. Here, again, some more spin-offs. So I talked about the QF22. Again, it's an embedded web form. We've got some more QC reporting there, dashboards from the accident and incident statistics. And then the last one is a resource page. This is looking at estimators along the lines of mechanical, data and networks, electrical and so on. And that is basically calculating how we deploy our resources around those estimators and making sure that we've got the right levels of resource to meet the pipeline coming in. Finally, what I thought I'd give was, I talked about landing pages for the customers. These are some sample landing pages for some of our customers. As you can see, nice and simple, fully accessible by anybody that you share the web links to and you give access to the certain elements to. The feedback has only been positive about this. I haven't had a single negative comment about this level of accessibility. In actual fact, if you want to call it negative, customers often say to us, okay, we don't need to see this, as in we're comfortable. They might get their head of estates to interrogate it to a degree and go into the detail. But I've had a head of estates most recently in the last 4 months come back to us and say it was the most comprehensive plan that they'd ever seen. And we were able to do that remotely, give them access to granular detail in absolute confidence that we, with Smartsheets and with our practices and processes we put in place, we know what we're doing and we're good at what we do. And we say that with confidence. So obviously we started out with a list of issues at the start of the presentation, and that was around, quality assurance, transparency, agility, and so on. In short, all of those have been achieved. They've been achieved by the processing system we put in place, but undoubtedly they've been helped enormously by the transparency and the accessibility and the ease of build of Smartsheets. So I really cannot endorse it enough. In terms of the spin-offs, we've had great customer satisfaction and endorsement. We've had a fantastic endorsement in the last 4 weeks from a very big customer, specifically talking about how we're able to be agile, how we're to be able to be so transparent using the Smartsheet systems during COVID, during lockdown, which is really, really important to us as a business to get that message across, because we want to tell people managing change, managing these circumstances is business as usual. It's what we do. It's in our DNA. The sales win ratio, I'm not going to say it's all because of Smartsheets, because clearly it's not. The sales win ratio, it depends on a whole host of people doing an excellent job. But in terms of Smartsheets, what it's been able to for us to do is to demonstrate absolutely without question our ability to deliver in areas and prove it. And that means that we're able to score very highly on the competency scoring and weighting applied to bids and so on, and new business. The other thing that I mentioned earlier, the application license removal, we're again targeting over 100K's worth of licenses to be removed as a direct consequence of introducing Smartsheets. And then from a productivity point of view, I've just picked my own department. We have had a 60% reduction in labour since I started, and yet we're producing 4 times the output. Now, that 4 times the output was a measure taken last year, and we're producing more. So, but that was a measure taken last year. So, again, from a productivity point of view, it's been exceptional. In terms of learnings for people who are either thinking about engaging with Smartsheets for the first time or have started with it and just want that steer. The messages from us, and I asked the team on this, was, keep it simple. There's a tendency, if you're not careful, to overthink something, to over-engineer it. I like the way that Smartsheets work because because of some of the way Smartsheets works, it makes you think logically, cleanly, and scope it out fully. That means map out your processes, work out during that process mapping, get your head into gear about how Smartsheets works, and start to apply those solutions as you're mapping out the current process to where it can deliver efficiency. Use the available network. There are so many people online that can help you. And I know that I personally, and I know my team, have used online chats and so on, and Smartsheets groups numerous times just to help us. Maybe we just needed help with a formula or something like that. Configuration management is another consideration. Naming conventions for files, folders, and sheet structures and reports. It's really important to think that through, because when you're doing lookups and you're doing formula within Smartsheets, it's obviously important to be able to land very quickly at the folder that you want to find or the file. And the last thing is license allocation. Licenses, it's a funny thing that people seem to think that once they've got a license, it's a license for life kind of thing. We'd rather be agile with licenses. Licenses are there for people who build. If you're not building, then question whether you need a license. You can have an administrative access, an editor cannot share, or a viewer access. If any of those accesses apply, once you've built a solution, then look to move your license onto another user. And those are the wise words that we hopefully can pass on to anybody else out there thinking of using Smartsheets.
Andrew, thank you. And I guess one more question for me then, as we start to wrap up. So some brilliant benefits, money saved, time saved, etc., and some lessons learned. How do you see Smartsheet growing and aligning with the business in the coming months and years?
So we've already got a very broad spectrum of users. I mentioned briefly that IT, HR, finance, payroll, and so on are regular and consistent users of Smartsheets now. And I think naturally we're in conversations now with Smartsheet about the next steps to take. And the next steps for us are to look at things like the control center license, the data mesh, the pivot, the dynamic reporting, and so on. And again, also maybe some additional licenses, we'll see. But those are the things that we're going to consider. I can only see it going one way, really, which is we become closer and closer partners, because the benefits are just are there and obvious to see.
That's brilliant. Thanks for sharing. So I guess first and foremost, I'd like to thank you, Andrew, and Atalian Servest for sharing your story and how Smartsheet and the solutions that you've created are having such a huge impact on the business. I'd also like to thank everyone for attending today. We appreciate your time and we hope that you find this session useful. Before we do wrap up, I want to share some resources with you that will be on screen that will enable you and your teams to find answers, build solutions, as Andrew led to earlier on. Our community online is brilliant, and really enable you to deliver value to your organization using Smartsheet. So very quickly, we've got our Learning Center. It's self-service, help articles, learning resources for Smartsheet, 10,000 feet and other products. We've got access to our on-demand webinars, our online community, and finally then training and certification. All of these can be found on our website. Again, I'd like to thank everyone for the time today. Thank you to Andrew, and thanks again.
Thanks, Connor. Take care.